students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing really well. So students, today we are going to start chapter name The Faithful Dog. So here we are going to study about a faithful dog. Okay, so the summary is dog make wonderful pet. They run very fast, bark loudly and attack the strangers. They are friendly, they are playful and they are loving. But above all, they are very faithful. Read this moving story of a Japanese dog, Hachiko. He was so faithful, people set up a statue in his memory. So let's read the chapter and find out why people set up a statue in his memory. Shibuya is a small town near Tokyo in Japan. There lived a Shibuya, a professor who taught at the University of Tokyo. So we are reading a story, and this story begins in a small town near Tokyo, and the name of the town is Shibuya. Shibuya, a small town near Tokyo in Japan. There lived a Shibuya professor, and he taught in University of Tokyo. One day, the professor found a small puppy on a busy street of Shibuya. The puppy was whimpering as he was lost and wet. The professor took him home and looked after him. He called the puppy Hachiko. Hachiko grew into a beautiful dog. He followed the professor wherever he went. So one day, a professor found a puppy on the street of Shibuya, whose whimpering means making a sound, and he was lost and wet. So professor took him home and take care of him. And he gave him a name of Hachiko. Hachiko grew into a beautiful dog, and he followed the professor everywhere. Every morning, the professor took a train from the Shibuya railway station to Tokyo. Hachiko followed the professor to the railway station. Outside the station, the professor would pat Hachiko and say goodbye. Hachiko would stand there and watch the professor until he disappeared in the station. Then he would go and play in the railway station square. So every day, professor took a train from Shibuya railway station to Tokyo, and Hachiko waited for him outside the station until he disappeared from his eyes. And then after Hachiko came and played in the railway station square. Every evening, when it was time for the professor to return, Hachiko would come and wait for his master near the station gate. He knew the train that brought his friend home as soon as he saw the professor. His eyes would shine and his tail would go wag, wag, wag. Okay, so this is a very common reaction whenever a pet saw his owner, then he start wagging his tail in happiness. So Hachiko wait for the professor in the evening whenever he knows when the train comes and when his masters come. So he wait outside the station gate for his master. And whenever he saw the professor, his eyes would shine and his tail start wagging. Okay, now then the professor and Hachiko would return home together, and they both come home at the same time. One evening, Hachiko waited outside the station as usual, but the professor did not return. He had suddenly died at the university. But Hachiko did not know that. He waited and waited. The people who saw Hachiko sitting at the railway station tried to send him home, but Hachiko just did not move. He kept sitting there. The next day he waited again, and the next and the next. He just would not go home. Many weeks passed, but Hachiko continued to wait every evening. What a faithful dog! The people said, let us have a statue of this dog in the Shibuya railway station square. So Hachiko's statue was made and set up in the railway station square. Hachiko continued to play in the square. He played under his own statue, but he did not know that 1 year passed. Hachiko was now very old. That winter he died, but the people of Shibuya still remember the faithful Hachiko, who would wait for his friend every evening and would not go home. So, according to their daily routine, Hachiko waited for his master and uh, wait outside the station for his master to come. But one evening, Chico don't know about that his master died at the university. Suddenly died at the university. So Hachiko wait for him at that evening, and the next day again, the next day again, and then next day. After a few weeks, people come to realize that the Hachiko never go back to their home and waited for his master for so long period. He used to play in the Shibuya railway station square, and again in the evening he come to the gate and wait for his master. So everyone starts saying that how faithful this dog is, and they want to make a statue of Hachiko, and they made a statue of Hachiko and placed it in the Shibuya railway station square. And after 1 year, Hachiko was now very old and he died in the winter season. But Shibuya still remembered the faithful dog Hachiko, and who waited for his master every evening and would not go home. So this is the story of a faithful dog who waited for his master 1 year long and then died. So try this. Where did Hachiko keep sitting? So Hachiko keeps sitting near the station's gate. Okay. Now the word bucket. Town, city, professor, a teacher of the highest rank in the college or university, whimpering, crying as if in pain, outside, outward, shine, glow, faithful, dutiful, incredible or credible, remember, memorize. Think and answer. A. Take the correct option. Number 1. Shibuya was a sweet toffee town library. Shibuya was a town, a small town in Tokyo. Okay. B. Fill in the blanks. Number 1. The professor taught at the dash of dash University of Tokyo. Okay. Number C. Give number to the sentence according to the chapter. That winter he died. The puppy was whimpering as he was lost and wet. He just not go home. He just would not go home. He played under his own statue. Hachiko would return home together. So the puppy was whimpering as he was lost and wet. Number 1. Hachiko would return home together. Number 2. He just would not go home. Number 3. He played under his own statue. Number 4. And that winter he died. Number 5. Number D. Answer the following question. Where did the professor live? Professor lived in Shibuya town, in a small town in Tokyo in Japan. Okay, so now read the rest of the question and find out their answer from the chapter. Values inside. The professor was a kind man who takes pity on a lost puppy. He loved the puppy and took care of him. Given below are some words. Take the one that correctly describe the professor. Affectionate, selfish, friendly, thoughtful, careless, kind-hearted, loyal, and brave. You have to take all those correct one who describe professor. Okay. Now the grammar stroke, reading and writing skills. The sentence. A sentence is a group of words that make complete sense. Followed the professor to the railway station. These phrases are not complete because they don't have subject. Okay. Now Hachiko followed the professor to the railway station. This is a complete sentence which give your proper sense. In the sentence we must place the word in their proper order. Station, the outside waited Hachiko. Hachiko waited outside the station. A sentence always begin with a capital letter and sentence usually end with a full stop or a question mark. Rewrite these group of words as sentence. The first word of each sentence underline. Admired his people Hachiko master for love. People admire his love for his master. People admire Hachiko loves for his master. Okay, this is how you start this, and the first alphabet you write in capital letter, and after that you have to put a full stop. Okay, now do the rest of the part at your own. Article. Shibuya is a small town. There lived a professor in Shibuya. One day the professor found a small puppy. A and there are called articles. N is also an article. Articles are placed before nouns. A and N suggest one, any one. so they are used for a noun that stands for one person or thing only: a dog, an elephant, a parrot, an eagle. The suggest some particular person or thing. One day the professor did not return. Now fill in the blanks with a or the. Bruno grew into a beautiful dog. The dog followed the professor wherever he went. Okay, I have done one for you. Now do the rest of the part at your own. Word power. Add full to these words and make new word. For example, faith plus full is equal to faithful. Thought plus full is equal to thoughtful. Help plus full is equal to helpful. Okay. Now use this word in the following sentence. Bruno loved to play. He was a playful dog. He was a playful dog. Now moving to next, number B. A railway station is a place where you go to catch a train. Match the following name of a place with their description. Police station. Police station where you can report to the police. Fire station where the fire engines are parked. Port where you can board a ship. And bus stand is where you can get into a bus, and taxi stand where you can hire a taxi. Now the creative junction. Write 4 lines on each of the following animal. You have to write down 4 lines on these animals. Okay, one is dog, second is elephant, third is lion, fourth is tiger. So this is the end of our chapter. Hopefully you understand it very well. Now do the pending exercises at your own.